used to using the new system. You cannot do any actual work in the system at this time, but you can get trained on it. You can do searches. You can pretend like you're adding a listing. Will allow you to function in the new site during your preview. But just keep in mind that you're in preview. You won't actually be on the live site until the morning of November 7th. Any questions about that? Okay. So what will convert over for you will be anything that's data related. So that means all of your listings will be imported over. All of your contacts from Matrix will be imported over. All of your saved searches and your auto emails will be imported over. However, with any importing of data, there's always bound to be something that may happen during the transfer. So we are asking you to take the time to check all of your information that has been imported over, okay? And it's really just, you'll have to set aside time to do this. It's kind of like your homework. So if you take care of your account and the data that comes over, it will make the experience much more seamless for you when you transition and go live and you start working on it, okay?
Is that data something you check now?
Yes, actually that data is in there now. You can check everything except you cannot edit your listings in Bright. You'll see your listings come through, and I'm going to show you how you can get familiar with all of the new fields in Bright, but you cannot edit your listings until you go live, which is the morning of that November 7th. Correct. You'll still be able to do your work in Matrix and Keystone until that system goes down the evening of November 6th. Okay? All right. Does anybody here not have a login for brightmls.com? Everybody should receive a welcome email. Okay. You did not? Are you a new agent?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And did you not receive a welcome email as well?
He just started. So
oh, okay. All right. So we're good. Okay. So what you're going to do, when you receive your welcome email, you'll also have a temporary password sent to you. Okay. Sometimes you may not have a temporary password emailed to you. It did go out, but I'm finding that some people, for whatever reason, are just not receiving that secondary email with the temporary password. If you did not receive the temporary password, but you did receive the welcome email, that is actually the most important thing. That means that you're on the Bright system. We have you as a recognized account. So what you could do if you don't have a temporary password is go into the login page and click the Forgot Password link. And that will just send you a link where you can just reset your email. Reset your password from there, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna log in with your temporary password. And the easiest way to do this is just to copy and paste it into that password box, okay? And then once you're logged in, it's going to automatically prompt you to change your password. And during the process of changing your password, it's going to ask you what your old password is. That is the temporary password. So you're changing it from the temporary password to become a new one that you set, okay? Don't use your old MRIS password because that tends to confuse people. And then once you're logged in successfully, it's going to drop you onto the Bright homepage, which looks very similar to this. Now, you will actually have a prettier homepage because yours will have a bright blue icon right in the middle of your homepage. So if you kind of look around the room, I see several computers. This gentleman right here has the homepage with a bright blue icon in the middle, and a couple of computers over on the right here have got the bright blue icon. So on this bright blue icon, you're going to have a button called Learn. It says Learn More. Okay, and if you click on the Learn More button, it's going to take you over to your conversion information page. And your conversion information page is going to be similar to the one I'm showing you up here. Now, I actually have a different account, so mine's going to look different, but it's going to contain the same type of information. Okay, so you're going to see the bright blue logo again, where I have the orange. Yours is going to be that bright blue. And then yours will say calibrate, right? And calibrate is basically your preview period. And then if you scroll down, you're going to get a bunch of resources on the left and on the right. So make sure you check out these resources. Okay.
What was it? It's the Learn More tab.
Yeah, so it's going to be right in the middle. You're going to click the Learn More button, and that will take you over to your conversion information page. Yeah, mine is different because I've already converted. I'm in the live side. You guys are on preview, so there's a different page for yours. Yeah.
Did the welcome email come
From actually, it came from our CRM system, which is Salesforce.com. So if you search for no reply at Salesforce.com, that is actually the sender of the email. Okay, so on your conversion information page, take a look at it. You've got a bunch of articles on the right-hand side, and if you scroll down, there's also a section with the how-to videos. Does everyone see that? And there's a section on working with your clients. And then towards the middle part of the window, there are going to be these blocks. So it's very similar to these blocks that I've got on my screen, where it takes you to different resources. You can sign up for classes. You can download cheat sheets. You can watch videos. So please do not forget your conversion information page. It is your go-to resource because there can't be 1,000 of these cloned around the area to stay with you all day long. So this is actually going to be the resource for you. Okay. Now, in addition, we do offer classes. So we've got a lot of training classes available. So sign up for a class if you need something. We've got a search class, which is going to be an hour and a half. And we've also got an add and edit class, which is an hour and a half as well. I'm only able to be with you for an hour and a half. So I'm going to try to cram in as much as possible into that hour and a half with you. Take the classes. It's going to give you more detail, and you're going to take a little more time on learning how to search and how to work with your listings, okay? We have webinars, so if you can't attend a live class, we do have live webinars, so there'll be an instructor teaching from a remote location, and you'll log in on your computer. And then, of course, we also have a lot of training videos. There's a YouTube channel that we own as well, so you can subscribe to that. If you go to YouTube and search for Bright MLS, we have a whole slew of videos on there that you can access. Okay? Questions on your training resources? All right, don't forget those because that's going to be very important. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see your name. And just to the left of your name, there's going to be a link called support. So if you're following along, let's go ahead and click on the support link. And on the support link, you're going to see some additional resources. The first one is going to say search help topics. And if you click into this, it's going to be where you can access an index with a bunch of different resources for you. So there's a tab called search. And if you go into that search keyword box and type in whatever it is that you're looking for, I'm just going to type in the word email and then click the enter button. It's going to give you all the places where email will show up. Okay? And then if you click on the link that you want to see, it's going to give you the how-to, step-by-step instructions. Okay? Now, the other thing you're going to do, and by the way, that just opened the second tab, so you should have two tabs open. You can close the second tab, and that will return you to the first tab. The other thing that we've got under support is, again, the conversion information. That will take you back to that conversion page that I started off at the beginning. Underneath that, you've got a link for Contact Us. Contact Us is going to give you all the phone numbers, the email address, and the link to our online chat. So feel free to contact our support center if you have any questions during this whole process and in the future. It's the same support center that we've had when you were on MRIS. It's the same staff located in the same place. The phone number is the same. Our email is the same. support@brightmls.com. Okay. We also have underneath that, again, going back to support, there's another section called training, and that will take you directly over to our training website, and then that's where you can sign up for the various classes and the webinars that we offer. Okay? That too will open up a secondary tab, so you can close the second tab, and that will return you to the first tab. And then the last thing I wanted to point out to you is under support, you're going to have a link to Bright MLS rules and regulations. Please take the opportunity to read and get familiar with the new rules and regulations of Bright. They are different than MRIS. Okay? A lot of it is going to be the same, but there are also differences between the two, date differences, status differences, field differences, just general rules, just in general. Okay, make sure you get familiar with this, and it is a rather lengthy document, but you set aside maybe 30 minutes to go through it. It'll help you understand what the rules are. Just as an FYI for you, while you're in your transitioning period, we would not be fining anybody for any mistakes that happen. Instead, our accuracy and policy department, they were formerly known as compliance, they will reach out in an email to notify you of anything that you did incorrectly. And it's more of an education process. They're going to say, you did this, in the future, we want you to do this instead. This is the rule behind it. Okay, so for the time being, it's going to be an education process for us as a company, reaching out to you all, our customers. In January, after everybody has
I'm watching the webinar.
1,000 people in MRAS and Trend, we're converting them through the end of the year. In January, when we're going to start issuing those fines that you need to fine everybody, okay? But just like we did at MRAS, we would notify you first, alert you, you'll have 72 hours to make your corrections. If you don't make the corrections at that point, we have no choice but to issue a fine. Okay, please.
Why is it working on the speaker?
So if you click on support again, there'll be a link to Bright MLS rules and regulations right at the very bottom. Okay, you can also find the Bright rules and regulations along with the terms if you click on more at the top, and that will open up more information in that section. And then to the right, you've got under policies, there's the terms of use and also the Bright MLS rules and regulations. Questions so far? All right. So I'm going to take you quickly through these tabs that you'll see on the top. So starting with the right, we were just on the More tab. So if you click that open, this is what you're going to see. You're going to have access to the agent and office production report. You're going to have the policies and some other resources there in the middle. If you click over one on your screen, you're going to see market research. If you are a broker, then you're also going to see a brokerage tab. Okay, and the brokerage tab is only meant for the brokers to control permissions that drives everything that happens in the MLS. So the permissions are actually done in a tiered layout so that the broker of record will go in and assign permissions for each of the offices and the managers of each office. And then those managers can go in and assign permissions for everything within their office. So any staff that's underneath the office, any agents who are under the office, any assistants who are under that office, the managing broker can then assign the roles and permissions. And these permissions equate to the permissions that you've had in MRAS. So for example, if you are able to add in your own listings, do your own searches, email those searches, add documents and photos, as you always have been able to do, you'll still be able to do that in Bright. We would transfer those permissions over. In other markets that we cover, specifically in New Jersey and in parts of Pennsylvania, they do business a little differently. Agents do not enter listings. They actually have office admins who do all of that. And so that role would then be assigned to that group. Okay, so there are different roles and different tasks that you can do, and they're all driven by permissions. If there's something that you're not able to do under your account, you can always reach out to support. The first thing they're going to do is check your permissions to see if your broker has given you permission to do that. Okay, sometimes things happen where one person might not be granted such and such permission. It's not meant to be that way, but with anything automated, there's always a chance that something might fall through the cracks. Okay, but it's not a huge deal. Just contact us. We would check your permissions, or you can contact your broker and have them check the permissions for your account as well. Okay. All right. Market research is where you'll have access to statistical reports, and you'll also see that's where you'll be able to access Smart Charts Pro and Remind if you're using those products. Finance will give you all of the different financial calculators, the amortization table schedule. There's also a buyer closing cost and a seller net sheet. So these actually replace Close It. And the closing costs are also integrated into the listings and the public records as well. So if you are going out to a listing appointment, you can generate a seller net sheet directly from the public record. You can also generate a buyer closing cost directly from the listing, and I'll show you where that appears. It's right there where the listing or the public record is. My listings is going to be the tab where you'll be able to access your listings, and you can add new listings or manage your existing listings. Okay, we're going to come back to that in a second. Clients is where you'll be able to find your contacts, and remember your contacts have been imported in for you, so they will be there. You'll also be able to manage any future auto emailings. For the time being, we have converted over the criteria set for your auto emails and the criteria set for your saved searches. They have both been converted over under the Save Search tab. You can change the imported auto email to become a running auto email after you go live on November 6th. And once you change it from an imported auto email to a running auto email, then that criteria set will be switched over to this section, okay, under clients. And then lastly, you have a tab on the far left called Search. And if you go into Search, this is where you'll be able to search all of the different things in our current matrix. So you'll notice on the left-hand side, you'll be searching by property type, and the searches there will yield all of the listings. There will also be, in the middle there, an office inventory search. There'll be a search where you can find open houses. There'll also be a search where you can find the roster, the directory, offices, and the public records. Public records is the same thing as our tax records. Okay. Now you'll notice underneath public records, there's a section called Save Searches. Does everyone see that? Go ahead and click on Save Searches and tell me what you see. What is it? A list of all your saved searches and your imported auto emails. Remember I said we tried to make this, we import all that, the criteria set for you. So you'll actually see in front of each of the names, it's going to have in parentheses, it's going to say imported SS or imported AE. And that just basically means an imported saved search or an imported auto email. Okay? So what you're going to do during your preview period is you need to check to make sure that the criteria set is still consistent with the new fields in Bright. So how you would do this is you would click on the name of any one of those saved searches or auto emails, and it will open up a little menu underneath. Does everyone see these buttons? It starts with settings, and it goes to criteria and results. So what it's going to do is allow you to click into criteria. Let's go ahead and click on criteria. And that's going to show you the set of criteria that it carried over. Now, because the fields in Bright are different than the fields in MRIS, they may not match. So the most important thing for you to note is to look at the number of matches in the orange button on the lower left-hand corner. If you have 0, then you need to fix the criteria. Okay?
Which lower left-hand button?
The orange button, it says blank matches. Yeah, however many matches.
If it has a question mark?
If it has a question mark, you need to look at your criteria. Yeah, because there are fields that exist in MRIS that do not exist in Bright, and there are fields that exist in Bright that do not exist in MRIS. And there are field name differences, things like that. So it's a totally different database that you're starting fresh from. All we can do is try to help you by carrying over your previous data set. Feel free to change it as needed. You can even clear this altogether and just start fresh if it's much easier for you. Okay. Now, one thing to note is as you scroll down to the bottom of that field right there where it has all the criteria, there's going to be a section where it's going to tell you which property type it's under. And what do you see there, Mary? Actually, you're right there, aren't you?
Property type.
It's towards the bottom. Scroll down.
Residential, multifamily, land, farm, commercial sale, commercial lease, and business opportunity.
Right. And which ones of yours are checked?
Residential, residential lease, and farm.
Okay. They will all come in that way. They will all have residential sale, residential lease, and farm checked off.
What?
Change it. Oh, yours doesn't? Okay. All right. Then that's fine. The one I wanted to point out is farm. Okay? Because we did not have a separate property type for MRIS in MRIS for farm. It was actually categorized under residential. And so whenever they kind of transfer data like this, they had to decide where to put that data. And because we never had a farm category, they weren't sure if you were actually looking for a farm or not. It kind of sat under one property type. And so it carried it over as both a residential and a farm. You can change it. If you're not looking for a farm, just uncheck the farm. Okay? So I want to make that clear because that does come up, and then people are saying, well, how come all of mine has farm? It's okay. It's kind of meant to be like that in a way because we didn't know if you wanted to search for a farm or not because farm was lumped into the same category as residential under MLS. Okay? So things like this, it does require you to do a little homework and be actively involved in this transition for you. So make sure you recheck the criteria, change anything that needs to be changed. If you do update it, there is a save button. Don't forget to change it and then hit the save button. Okay? It's right at the bottom, the orange button there. And you can do that now during preview so that you're updating your criteria set. You're not doing any work in Bright yet. You're not generating emails out, and you're not supposed to be running your regular searches on Bright. This is the time to learn the system and fix whatever that we carried over for you. Okay, so that's why you're called Calibrate. This is where you go and tweak your account. All right? Okay, the next thing after you've reset your criteria, go back to save searches here. After you reset your criteria, you're actually going to be able to, after you go live, turn on those that were the imported auto emails. So the morning of November 7th, you're going to come back to the Save Searches section. You're going to click on the ones that say Imported AE, and you're going to click on the button where it says Settings. Does everyone see Settings? It's to the left of Criteria. And once you click on Settings,
Where is that?
okay, so these buttons right here next to Criteria, there's a Settings button. Okay, so yeah, click on this link to go back to your Save Searches. And then right there is the settings. Okay, it's the same row of buttons where you had criteria, where I made you click on criteria. To the left would be a button called settings. And if you go into settings, look at the very top, underneath the orange line, there's a little blue link. What does that little blue link say? Turn this Save Search into an auto email. So when you're ready to flip the switch and make this a running auto email, you will click on that link. Don't do it until you go live. Because otherwise you're going to have two sets of emails going out from two different servers. Okay?
So we should do that.
The morning of November 7th. All your Save Searches are imported. All your auto emails are imported. You'll need to check the criteria to make sure they still match.
Right, okay.
Okay? And you can do that now.
How do you create a new search?
We haven't gotten there yet.
All right.
Any other questions on this?
What is the name of that blue link again? You said
Yeah.
it was on the day
Uh-huh. It says, turn this Save Search into an auto email. It tells you exactly what you're doing with that link. Okay?
So all of the emails are not going to be automatically on.
No, it's not on.
You have to turn them all
You
back
have to turn them on, right? Because of the fact that your criteria set might not match, right? And if they were running, they're not going to run because there's nothing it's generating. So we need you to help us help you. Okay. Yes.
Quick question, the Save Searches in the auto email section, was that, which tab is that under again? Is that under search?
Yes. So when you go to, the question was, where did you find all these imported things? If you went to search, it's all under Save Searches right now, okay? And when you turn it into a running auto email, then it will move that criteria set over to clients underneath auto emails at that point. Okay, and then of course any future auto emails that you would do would actually sit under clients versus any Save Searches that you do would sit under search. They're two separate sections, just like they are today. Any other questions on that? The converting your data set.
Kim, it might come up in what you're about to do, but I don't see carts or
You will when you get your results.
okay. Or CMA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's the same place where it always was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the format has, the layout hasn't changed.
Not
Yes,
a
it
little
has.
bit, but not too much.
Okay.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go in and perform searches. Are we good with converting your Save Searches and your auto emails there? Because that's going to be very important for you. Okay, let's go in and perform searches. So remember on the left-hand side, I talked about the different property types. Keep in mind, the sales and the leases are in two separate categories now. Okay, before they were both residential, you had to flip between for sale, yes or no. And now they're in two separate categories. So is farm. So before, farm was lumped under residential and you just said, yes, it was a farm, right? Now it's in a separate category. We also have a new category called business opportunity. And business opportunity is only going to be used by those agents who are legally able to help sell a business. So for example, a lot of commercial agents are usually able to do this. If you have a commercial listing and the owner of that commercial building is also going to be selling their business, which is in the building, maybe a carpet store or something like that, then you can, they're two separate transactions. You can put the sale of the building under commercial sale, and you can put the sale of the business under business opportunity. Okay, but they have to be tied to a real estate. In order, you can't just say I'm selling a real estate business, but you know there's no building along with it, just the business. You can't do that. It has to be tied to some type of a real estate, whether it's a lease or a sale. Okay. All right, so let's go in and perform a residential sale search.
Is multifamily, townhouse, condo, or what?
So multifamily would be like if you were selling an apartment complex building where it has multiple units in it. That's a multifamily. Okay. Yeah. So we're doing residential sale. And if you go into residential sale, you'll notice that your searching template is essentially matrix. It's going to look very similar to our current matrix. It's a different version of matrix. So all sale, search, and then residential sale. And then what you're going to be able to do is add in the criteria to run a search with. So the top section has to do with your location. It's called area. So this is where you can plug in your county, your zip code, your city. You can even do an address search. So down here, there's an address with the street number, street name. If you wanted to search for multiple addresses, you can click on the orange More button, and that will give you another row and another row and another row. So you can add as many addresses as you need to. Okay? Now, the way you're going to search in county and city and subdivision is actually very easy in that you just start typing, and we will offer you the choices. So if you wanted to search for Fairfax, you're going to start typing FA and see how it gives you a list. And as I put in an I, it's going to shorten the list. As I put in an R, it's going to shorten the list. And it's going to give you matches to what you typed. And then you can choose from there whichever one you wanted to search for. We do it this way so that we kind of eliminate the errors that can happen if you're typing in information from scratch, right? So if you find what you need and you click on it, then that's going to be the county that you're searching for. If you wanted to add a second county, you're going to do the same thing. Start typing, and it's going to give you a choice, and then you're going to click on the correct one, and now you can add a second county, okay? Now that's actually the easiest way to do this. The other thing that you could do is if you click on the little icon just to the right of that field, it looks like a magnifying glass. Click on that icon. It's going to open up a window where it gives you a whole extended list of every single county. And then you can hold down your control key and then click on those counties that you want to select. And that's how you do a multi-select option, just like we did in the old system. Remember that? So if you selected multiple counties by holding down control, once you have them selected, you could click on the add button in the middle, and that will add all of those selected counties over to the current selection box. Once you have everything selected, then you can click on the orange OK button down towards the bottom, and that will place those selections into that county field. Okay, so you have different ways that you can type in information here. Now, if you added in a county, and I'm just going to add Fairfax, when you go into city, there's going to be an icon just to the right of the city field, just like we had for county, the little magnifying glass. And if you click that open, it's going to give you a list. Oh, I picked the Adams County, Adams County, Pennsylvania. If you select a certain county, when you click on that icon next to city, it will show only those counties within that, those cities within that county. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Fairfax, and when I click open that magnifying glass, there are those cities within the county. Okay, and again, if you wanted to select multiple, you're gonna hold down your control key, select all that you want, and then you're gonna click the orange OK button, and they will all apply into the city field. You can also just start typing in the name of the city, and they'll give you the drop down. They all kind of function that way. Okay. Now you can also use your wild card. Remember what the wild card was in Matrix? What was it? An asterisk. You can use an asterisk. So for example, in subdivision, you want anything that contains the word forest in the subdivision. So you can type asterisk, forest, asterisk. And see how it actually in the dark blue, it recognizes that that is a searchable term. So it gives it to you. At this point, you can either hit the enter key or you can select from that dark blue box. And that then becomes a part of your search. Okay? Now, if you primarily search with certain criteria sets already in place, you can add a default to this search. So for example, you only work in Fairfax County. So 100% or 90% of the time when you go in to do a search, you want to select Fairfax and you want to select actives, right? Why do you have to keep doing that every single time? It's just a waste of, you know, a half a second here, a half a second here. At the end of your life, you wasted 10 hours, right? So what you can do is pre-select what you needed and then click on the wheel in the upper right-hand corner underneath your results tab. There's a little gray wheel. And if you click on it, it's going to give you an option that says set currently selected search criteria as my starting default. So if you click on that link, it's going to save Fairfax and active as a default. So every time you come back to this template, you already have those in there. And you can just move on. If you wanted to save multiple counties, then add multiple counties and then click on the wheel and save that as a default. You can always X out the stuff that you don't want later. Any questions on that?
Can you have more than one?
You can only have one default at a time per template. So you can have ones for sale, you can have one for lease, you can have